All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier iHypnosis coach and your personal guide. And a very, very warm welcome to all of you to our podcast, the iHypnosis Coaching Journeys. So, today I have a very, very special guest that it's like when I met her for the very first time, I knew there was this, when if you believe in karmic connections, there's just something about our uh, uh, first conversation, and from that point on, obviously we've stayed connected. I think it's been about over a year and a half since 2022. I think it would have been July or August, and I'm, of course, talking about my guest Subhavahini, and from time to time I call her Shubs. Otherwise, it's Subhavahini, and like I said, uh, I was very, very taken in with her desire to learn all about digital marketing, and for someone who comes from a when I met her at the time, I was like, wow, how does someone from this field, get interested in digital marketing and then, you know, go through the steps to learn it and then to get better at it with time. So this was our very first introduction, but of course, we will go deeper into these conversations over the course of today's podcast. So with that, welcome, Shubhavini, and I'd love for you to tell our audience a little bit about you, like, what you do today, and then of course we'll go deeper into your conversation, your story, and so much more.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rahul. I'm so very happy to get featured in your podcast. Yes, as you said, 2022, we first met, right? We first
Hmm.
started having conversation, and from then I always look forward to you. You have been there in the entire journey I have come
Hmm.
through these 2 years or so, and yeah, it is always amazing. It's like a caring shoulder. If there is something that is going wrong
Wow.
in me, I just get back to you. Then
Mm.
a conversation that I have with you, that 1 hour or half an hour, whatever it is, that gives me the solution. That is how it has been.
Right.
So I'm very happy to
Amazing.
be here in your podcast as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, and
Amazing.
you asked me to introduce. Yes, hello everyone whoever is watching and whoever is part of Rahul's community. I'm Subhavahini Seetharaman. I'm a certified diabetes educator, and I'm focusing on implementing holistic lifestyle habits,
Mm.
holistic lifestyle routine uh, in your lifestyle, so that we can reverse diabetes following
Mm.
these practices. That is what
Mm.
I'm doing. Especially I'm helping working professional reverse the diabetic condition,
Mm. Mm.
because working professional, their lifestyle, they say whenever we talk about something to get implemented, it is difficult for them. Their work
Mm.
pressure, their stress, their uh, uh, like sedentary lifestyle today, that
Correct.
is one of the major impact, right? So how can we simplify and how can we give them an
Mm.
impactful solution through holistic wellness? That is what uh,
Right.
I'm researching, applying it for myself, and
Yes.
teaching to my people. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So we will definitely, uh, like, nowadays we use the jargon of double clicking. So I know you've talked about some very, very powerful uh, subjects and sub subjects. So we will, dig deeper into that because, um, if I look at it in context, one is when you talk about diabetes, from what I've heard, there's type 1 and there's type 2. So I know that, people who are hearing and people who are watching this podcast, whether they're watching it right now, whether they're watching it at a later point in time, or even listening to it for that matter, I know that this will be of value to them or even to their family and friends, right? Because this is something that today more and more people have, they're open to the idea of how do we manage it, right? It's not only about medication, but there are many other aspects to this, whether it's the mindset, whether it's choices that people make. So I'd love to hear more, and we will go deeper into that, I'm sure, over the
Yes,
course of
yes,
today.
definitely.
And of course, the other set of people who are people like us, who are coaches and healers. And this is something that we had discussed on our previous podcast as well. It was a really intensive, like a 2 hour podcast, where we talked on so many things. But more importantly, it's like, if you are a coach, eventually you will be a healer, because you're not just disseminating information. You're actually helping people heal so that they can tap into their best selves, right?
Yeah.
And then of course the other side of it is, if you're a healer and you are asking the right questions, that is exactly what coaching is,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So for the way I look at it, is dual purpose. People specifically looking at today's podcast from a diabetes lens, or meaning prevention and management of diabetes, or of course, if somebody is on this journey of being, or even thinking of being, or becoming a coach, a digital coach, and a healer. I
yes.
know that your stories, your reflections, your recollections will definitely uh, it'll definitely connect with them in a deep way. So we will definitely be exploring all of this, double clicking on a lot of this over the
Yeah.
course of today's podcast. So with that broad, with that broad outline, maybe we could start here. So, like you briefly said, that today you are focusing especially on working professionals in the context of managing lifestyle, but it would really help for people listening as well, if you are doing this today, what was your journey, right? So for especially for coaches and healers, you're probably familiar with the hero's journey, right? So it was, in your case, what was your journey like? Who were you before to get to who you are today?
So this is really an interesting question. I have to look back to my life, Rahul.
Mm,
They say life starts at 40, right? So
wow.
I'm at my 40s and I'm on my life now. That is what I feel. But
Right.
what my before 40s, like what happened so far
Yeah.
in my life is I've always been a working professional.
Hmm.
I'm a workaholic basically.
Hmm.
I was working for an organization, and my work was also kind of project management, administration,
Hmm.
all this.
Hmm.
So I've been working in companies for 12 years.
Hmm.
That is how I've never thought I will become a trainer or coach or a healer. No, I no
Wow.
thought about that at all.
Wow.
But in the corporates, yes, I was liking this training
Hmm.
part, the corporate training part, but not apart from the work, right? But
Right.
life turns around,
Hmm.
right? One point everything was going smooth, and
Huh.
I had uh, like very sad demons in my family. I couldn't
Hmm.
tolerate that, and that made me think, what am I doing?
Wow.
That is how it was.
Hmm.
That made me think, like, no, corporate,
Hmm.
yes, enough of it.
Hmm.
But earning, why are we here? Okay, earning, as well as I was interested.
Hmm.
I was career oriented, so I was focusing on
Hmm.
that. But I have to do something for people. Uh,
Hmm.
when I had my mom had diagnosed with cervix cancer, and
Right.
she was going through some kind of initial phase of it. uh,
Hmm.
the surgeries, all that was happening.
Hmm.
I didn't know. We all think like we are working in corporate, so we know everything, right? But I've never
Right.
felt this is so serious. I thought, I'm
Hmm.
earning, I can spend money. I had that lot of
Hmm.
ego. for myself. No,
Wow.
what is there? I can take my mom to any hospital. I'm
Right.
residing close to Bangalore, so
Mm.
all the facilities available in Bangalore, so I can
Right.
take her anywhere, no issues. So I was
Mm.
not at all having so much fear, nothing like
Mm.
that. But my dad was putting a lot of this in his mind. He was
Mm.
not opening up. He was
Mm.
not expressing. And my dad and my mom are ideal couple. I have never seen anybody else
Mm.
like that in world. They are so
Mm.
lovely. Until the last moment, they are uh, they have that kind of uh,
Mm.
I can't express that. They're so close.
Mm.
So he was not expressing, keeping that in mind. In about 8 months or so, he
Mm.
is also a social worker. He works
Mm.
for an organization,
Mm.
uh, which is like the non-profit organization.
Mm.
So he was doing service over there, and he was so actively involved over there.
Mm.
The previous day also, he has involved in one of the events which is coming
Mm.
that week. For that, he's
Right.
working on all the administrative stuff. He
Mm.
even takes the you know what the food from the restaurants, the mess
Mm.
which wherever we are ordering,
Right.
and he
Right.
brings it to serve people over there in
Wow.
our community. That is what he was
Amazing.
doing.
Mm.
So see, he was active. We have never thought
Mm.
he will get into some kind of this kind of dangerous situation.
Mm.
Even the previous day, he was so active, focusing
Mm.
on it. But
Mm.
what happened is, all of the sudden, he got a stroke. He got
Wow.
vomiting, blood vomiting, basically, and all of the sudden, he got into emergency within fractions of second. I This is what I'm telling my community as well.
Mm.
We have to take care of our health. Health, when I mean, that is why I say holistic wellness, because
Mm.
health is not just the physical health. People take care of, people do the annual health checkups
Mm.
frequently, all that, and they say they just see the parameters. But
Mm.
mental health is playing much for faster, deeper,
Mm.
and impactful.
Right.
I saw that in my dad's situation.
Mm.
Just fractions of, we couldn't think what is happening. We couldn't
Mm.
even take a decision.
Mm.
He's collapsed. We took him
Wow.
to a very good, a well-known
Mm.
corporate hospital in Bangalore. But again, there also, my ego.
Mm.
I felt like I'm
Mm.
communicating very well. I can communicate very well. I'm a
Mm.
project management professional. I'm working in so and so company. I
Mm.
have so and so experience,
Right.
but I couldn't communicate to the doctor. I felt
Wow.
illiterate.
Mm.
I felt too bad. What is he saying? What is my dad's condition? And
Mm.
I said, okay, wherever. If not this hospital, where can I take?
Mm.
I don't bother about money, because my dad, uh,
Mm.
that background, how he took me and where I am today,
Mm.
that itself is a big story actually. From a
Right.
small village, I studied in
Mm.
a Tamil medium school,
Wow.
normal government aided school only I studied. And from
Amazing.
there, he gave lot of exposures just for me to come out
Mm.
of all that.
Mm.
So he is my hero of my life.
Mm.
So for
Beautiful.
me, wherever I want to take, I want to bring him back.
Mm.
That is how it was. He's a social person. He's
Mm.
done a lot of things, not just to me. But I know over a period in time, 2 to 3 days,
Mm.
whenever we brought him there, he was collapsed.
Mm.
But in over the
Mm.
2 3 days, he was on ventilation. Doctors did not allow him out.
Mm.
I had to really get into a struggle and take him out. That's when I felt
Mm.
communicate. That's when I really felt how this communication thing,
Mm.
even though we feel we are good, but we don't know anything about health.
Mm.
By the time I realized this, by the time I really understood or
Mm.
really accepted my dad is no more,
Mm.
my mom got into complications. She
Oh.
gone through lot of things due to chemotherapy, all that, and
Mm,
within 1 year's time, like she also, I missed my mom as well. So this
mm,
one made me realize that, like, what am I doing in corporates? I want to do something to the society. For me, first
right.
thing that came into my mind is I lost my parents. One thing I don't want to, I want to live that life,
Mm,
uh, not into the pressurized, or not into something just for the survival or just for making money.
mm,
There should be something, some cause, because my dad, even after his thing, there were
mm,
no relatives, no, not much
mm,
from the family side. There were a
mm,
lot of other things happening in the family, but
mm,
there were a lot of people from the society. Even today they call me, they ask me, did you had food,
mm,
do you want something, if you want some
right.
support, let us know. Just because of the work that he did for the society.
Mm,
So that is one thing I wanted to bring in, that
mm,
society's thing. Then second thing is, I missed my parents. Definitely I wanted to give that. uh,
right.
they are so young, they're not too old.
Mm,
Yeah, so at least people with their
yeah.
age, I have to see
Mm,
my parents in their faces. This is what I was. And I took up some courses. Technically, yes, I started with acupuncture was the very easily available course,
right.
right,
Mm,
in the place wherever I'm residing.
mm,
I took, but it was not resonating well with me,
mm,
because I couldn't get result from people.
right.
Whenever I applied, I could not get result. I wanted
Mm,
that will motivate me, right? If I'm
yeah.
seeing the result from people,
Yeah.
that is the
Of course.
important factor.
Mm,
So then I got into hands of someone, a very nice person. He's called Dr. Subhashmani. I wanted to
mm,
highlight his name definitely because he
of course.
transformed my thought process completely.
Beautiful.
He is the
Beautiful.
one. He's a naturopath, and
Mm,
he is in Chennai, and
mm,
he taught me why to approach holistic. He taught
mm,
me about detox therapy,
mm,
natural therapy. When we mean it, how to cleanse our body from
mm,
mind till the soul. That is a
right.
that one. And anatomically, physiologically also, a lot of things I learned from him sitting in his office. I've
Wow.
also been like got an opportunity to go close with him, sit during his consultation calls.
Right. Right.
So that gave me a lot of experience in diagnosing people,
Mm, beautiful.
from the
Beautiful.
mindset till
Mm,
the
mm,
physiological conditions of the body. Yeah, all
right.
that, the pathological
Right.
condition. And
Amazing.
from there, I can't practice, right? For me, always, I am a kind of person asking for validation.
Mm.
I'm like, my dad always says, like, you should, people should uh, feel good about you. I shouldn't be doing
mm.
something society is not willing to. This, I have lived my
Wow.
life with
Amazing.
validation.
Wow.
So what happened is I got a mindset saying, like, no, no, I'm not a doctor. If I do this, will people accept? Even
Mm.
I have discussed this with you as well, right? I told this to you as well. So this is how I was. So I wanted to have a certification. Then
right.
Dr. Subhashmani helped me
Mm.
getting the diabetes educator
Mm.
certification, the Government of India certification.
Right.
So yeah, after then, uh, yeah, I started working on diabetes.
Mm. Nice.
Diabetes is a niche. It
Mm.
helped. It is helping me in marketing
Mm.
well today.
Mm. So,
Yeah.
uh, just to pause you here because I mean, you've really poured your heart out, and thank you for, um, being willing to remember these experiences, to remember, um, what you've been through, because it is obviously a personal experience, but I know that it's taken you, um, like you've really been in this long enough to know that your story is not just for you but it's for other people, and that's also what what allows you to tell your story, right? And the loss of one parent is one thing. Like, I can say, okay, I know what that feels like, but the loss of two, and in a way which is, nobody expects it, right? But in spite of that, that you are able to share, and I know that this is definitely, this in itself will, um, it will give a lot of solace to people who are, dealing with this, because, when you hear stories like this, it kind of, grounds people, that, hey, you know what, I'm not the only one who's been through this, and there is life beyond it, right? Because you've tapped into that energy, and like you said, your dad, you can hear your dad, you can probably see your dad, um, you know being the angel on your shoulder, saying, okay, Shubhavani, like, it has to be of value to other people, and that becomes a driver, on a day-to-day basis, right? So,
Yeah.
something you said, I may have missed it, or you may have in your mind kind of jumped a step, which is why I wanted to pause and ask you this question. Like, so you started to learn more about, uh, naturopathy. But what brought you to specifically choose diabetes over um, any other illness, or I don't know if you could call it an illness, but it's basically like a condition, as how I would look at it, a condition which, when it's managed, can make life better. So, what made you choose diabetes in comparison to any of the other aspects?
I'll be very frank over here,
Please.
uh, because what happened is, for me, I always wanted to run a palliative care center.
Mm,
uh, it is palliative care centers today, a lot of palliative care centers are run based on the sedative drugs.
right.
They just wanted to, the main aim focus is to just suppress the pain, or
Mm,
to do something with respect to
right.
the pain,
Right.
right? When people are going through
Right.
the
Mm,
cancer,
mm,
uh, this thing,
mm,
severities. But
mm,
for me, my palliative care center should be on holistic approach. I
mm,
want to give them, this is my dream. Even today, this dream is
mm.
alive, and I want to make this
Beautiful.
happen. Uh,
Yes.
Holistic, when I mean for that person as well,
Mm,
mentally, they should be
mm,
relaxed. They
right.
physically, emotionally, soulfully,
Mm,
they should realize whatever
mm,
they have done, and they should get some kind of
right.
completeness. That is what I
Mm,
wanted to feel,
mm, mm,
because I know what my mother was going through,
mm,
right? This is one. Secondly, why I wanted to give, why I wanted to run a this palliative care center is,
mm,
what I want to give in that palliative care center
mm,
is, I want to cover the family over there.
mm,
I lost my dad because of my mother, the stress what he was going through
mm,
of the
right.
process, right?
Mm,
And we have also gone through so much even
mm,
after that, whenever she was
correct.
going through the chemotherapy. So
Right.
family is one major portion.
100%. Mm,
But, when we go to doctors, they, I'm not blaming, but their work
mm,
is like that. They are busy. They don't have time. Uh, they Even now I tell even the doctors whomever I'm working with, I
mm,
say, what are you giving? You are giving, uh, I mean, fear. When
mm,
people come to you, the first thing you give is the fear. You take
mm,
the blood report, you show them this parameter is not, this vital is not correct, this parameter is not right. So that is when the fear starts,
mm.
right?
True.
But I am, I should not be giving the fear. I have to, uh, that's the fact, right? Even the
Right.
parameters are not right, that's the fact. We
Mm,
got it. What else we will need
mm,
to do? Only if we are happy, if we are positive, we will be able
mm.
to go through that, and we will be
Right.
able to come out of it.
Right.
If fear
Right.
comes in, then
Mm.
definitely we will not be able to
True.
do, right? This
True.
is one
True.
of the important factors why I wanted to run the palliative care center.
Mm.
uh, but again, I'm kind of the person who's asking for validation, right? So certification, I need a
Right.
certification to come front, and yeah, definitely
Right.
that is needed as well. When we are
Sure.
working on health, I should need to
Mm.
understand it completely.
Mm.
So I had a yoga background from the childhood,
Oh,
but not the
okay.
professional yoga. Uh, uh,
Mm.
what do you say? The lineage from Guru. Uh,
Mm.
I had born and brought up with his principles. My
Wow.
Guru is Sri Vedatri Maharishi in Tamil
Mm.
Nadu, and my
Mm.
father is the follower of him. That was there
Right.
for me.
Right.
So I wanted to professionally learn yoga,
Mm.
the
Mm.
therapeutic yoga portion,
Mm.
and then
Mm.
I want to take it forward to people.
Mm.
That is what my thought
Mm.
process was. I was
Mm.
going through in that thought process, and that is
Right.
why I loved natural therapy.
Right.
I loved
Mm.
the concept of naturopathy. I
Mm.
loved the concept of
Mm.
detoxing the
Mm.
organs, all
Mm.
that, the entire body,
Mm.
holistic approach.
Mm.
But yeah, for me, what happened is, if I want to run a detox center, I should
Mm.
have legally, if you see, I should have to work under a doctor. I'm a therapist.
Right. Right.
So if I'm working under a doctor,
Mm.
then typically, you know how it goes. I
Mm.
don't want to get into the technical portion alone. I
Sure.
want to
Sure.
look into holistic approach. I want
Mm.
to do it differently, and
Mm.
that is when
Mm.
I got this opportunity. Diabetes educator is diabetes. I've never thought, my mind was always into
Ah.
cancer, but
Right.
then
Beautiful.
diabetes
Mm.
educator
Mm.
just for a certification, and then I will have that certification, and I can
Right.
practice, I can guide people.
Mm.
I can guide,
Mm.
even though if I'm a diabetes educator, then uh, if I have this holistic approach, the lifestyle, the holistic
Mm.
lifestyle model applied to them,
Mm.
I want to apply this holistic approach. That's
Right.
it. Whoever it is, I wanted to apply. But then
Mm.
I found lot of people
Mm.
struggling, right?
Mm.
Diabetes is also a very simple problem, the
Mm.
lifestyle problem, but
Mm.
when it gets complicated, when it
Mm.
gets beyond this thing,
Mm.
there are a lot of awareness that is not been there. People are
Mm.
only looking at medication,
Mm.
and there it is getting into complications easily.
Mm.
So for certification I did, then I started enjoying it. I started seeing a lot
Wow.
of people struggling with
Mm.
complications,
Mm.
and I'm happy. I want to apply the holistic lifestyle,
Right.
holistic wellness. So I'm doing that for diabetic.
Wow.
That is what I'm
Amazing.
doing. But definitely,
Mm.
uh, this is the lifestyle disease, but there are
Mm.
destructive diseases, right? Not only cancer. In naturopathy, what I learned is we shouldn't be dis- uh, differentiating
Mm.
diseases by its name or the
Mm.
modern medicine concept.
Mm.
Anyways, one or the other way, it is accumulation of toxins.
Mm.
In,
Right.
if toxins is
Mm.
accumulated in kidney, then it is kidney failure. Toxin is, lot of toxin is
Mm.
getting accumulated in blood, it is something else.
Mm.
So
Mm.
cancer is also a toxic matter that is getting spread.
Mm.
That doctors are there to treat the disease, but we are not
Mm.
there to treat this disease. We have to look
Mm.
into the wellness, we have to look into
Right.
the health. So for
Mm.
whatever, the entire thing, whatever we wanted to do for the holistic wellness, we will need to apply.
Mm.
It doesn't matter whether it is cancer, whether it is uh,
Mm.
uh, whatever it is, the diabetes or whatever it is. And that
Mm.
is why. But I because I'm certified with diabetes, then I started learning lot
Mm.
of things from
Mm.
masters
Mm.
who are working on diabetic. So that is how I'm working with
Wow.
diabetic now.
Wow. Yeah, I must confess that I was unaware of this story, that's part of your life, in the context of like how diabetes or diabetes management came into being. So it's another reminder of why intuitively I was like, I want to do these conversations. I want to invite people, um, as my guests on the podcast, because there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. Um, it's like a deeper and deeper connection. And one question here, of course, as you were speaking, what came to my mind was something that is also the in the title of our podcast. So I know that it's something very dear to you. So I'd love for you to share the story of that. Right, the word Uyirmai. What's the story behind that?
Oh yeah. In the beginning of this podcast, I told you this is my second phase of my life. I'm
Hmm.
done with the first phase, and this is my second innings.
Right.
So Uyirmei is my second innings. When I quit my job, I
Hmm.
I wanted to do something with respect to health, and
Right.
that is when I'm learning about natural therapy, learning on this. uh, we wanted to mission, you've mentioned mission, so I was very happy. It is actually the mission, right?
Right.
When we
Right.
were discussing how is our life going to be, me and my husband, we were
Hmm.
sitting and discussing how is my life going, our life going to be.
Hmm.
He also quit his corporates during this
Wow.
phase because we have to, I'm the eldest daughter of my parents. We have to take care of them. It's not me,
Hmm.
it's we. My husband
Wow.
also
Hmm.
plays a major portion of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when we were taking care of the thing, the realization is both of us, right? For both of us.
Wow.
So we
Right.
decided, we were thinking how
Hmm.
he also quit his job. He wanted to focus
Hmm.
on his passion, all that.
Hmm.
So we said how we want to take it forward. We want to
Wow.
take it forward uh, in a sustainable living kind of a
Hmm.
concept.
Hmm.
Sustainable living with respect to everything, with
Hmm.
respect to health, with respect to lifestyle, and with
Hmm.
respect to spirituality. We
Wow.
also want to be, these three are the core
Hmm.
principles that we want to incorporate within our lifestyle, and we
Correct.
have to take it forward as a
Hmm.
mission. As a mission,
Hmm.
it is not just
Yes.
business, it's a mission.
Hmm.
uh, Health has sustainability in health,
Hmm.
sustainability in lifestyle, and
Hmm.
sustainability in the divinely
Hmm.
thought,
Nice.
however you want to,
Hmm.
spiritual
Hmm.
alignment. So
Right.
what happened is, when we wanted to do this, uh, what will we name our mission, what will we
Hmm.
name our organization, or whatever it is.
Hmm. Hmm.
We thought of a lot of things, but
Hmm.
uh, I'm from Tamil Nadu, right? So this
Correct.
word Uyirmei was so very connected with our mission. Uyir is life.
Correct.
The first word of Uyirmei, Uyir is life. Uyir
Hmm.
means life in Tamil.
Hmm.
Mei means the ultimate, the divine, or the pure
Beautiful.
consciousness,
Wow.
right? So
Hmm.
ultimately, this soul has to get connected to the
Yes.
ultimate consciousness, the pure
Right.
consciousness.
Right.
So that kind of experience we will need to live,
Hmm.
and we will need to give it to the people, whoever
Wow.
is coming with
Hmm.
us in the mission.
Hmm.
And that is why we named it as Uir Mein. And that is why, again, I'm saying, even if it is diabetes, even if it is cancer, more than treating the disease, we want to look it into the higher perspective of
Hmm.
health, wellness, holistic wellness,
Sure. Sure.
right? That
Beautiful.
is one of the
Hmm.
impact. And when
Hmm.
I took into, I mean, I took care of this health portion. My husband took care of the lifestyle portion. He's
Oh.
all he's involved in organic, natural farming, the
Hmm.
community farming. Natural farming, I don't mean the normal thing.
Ah.
100 people jointly, whoever is
Right.
living in the city, even abroad, they don't have
Hmm.
facility to farm. They
Right.
don't have an option to farm, and they don't have money to invest also to have
Right.
such facilities,
Hmm.
management and all.
Hmm.
100 people joined together, and in South Tamil Nadu we have got 100-acre land, and we're doing
Beautiful.
a community farming. So we get rice
Nice.
from there. Now we started getting rice
Hmm.
from our farm. It is again an emotion.
Hmm.
Today, living in the city, having something from our farm is really
Right.
good, right? Because it
Beautiful.
is little far, we are not able to get the vegetables and all, but the grains
Hmm.
and cereals and
Hmm.
all we started getting. So this
So
is
at
what we're
present
doing.
on your farm you have grains and cereals that you're growing
We have
at present.
fruits,
Fruits as
fruit
well.
trees, yeah, long run.
Hmm.
Vegetables are going to the local market.
Right.
We are
Got it.
giving it for
Right.
nominal cost.
Right.
Organic vegetables are really expensive, right? But this
Hmm.
is a trust, or this is a society, right? So we are giving in the local market for nominal cost, and we do value additions. For example,
Right.
you know this bindi, right? The lady's finger.
Hmm.
Lady's finger,
Right.
we dry it. There is some process that they
Hmm.
are doing, and then it comes to us in the packaged form for fryams, for
Wow.
making it as a fryams. Lettuce finger and some more vegetables are going like that, and there are some more
Hmm.
vegetables, some more value additions also we started doing now in the
Nice.
farm. And
Nice.
there we are also focusing on the but we it is not full fledged, but the handloom, there is a person who's trying
Hmm.
to do handloom materials, and we will also bring
Wow.
those products, launch those products very soon.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that
Do
is
do
one.
of course I will at towards the end of the podcast talk about the links to your social and how people can connect with you.
Yeah.
If you do also wish to, you're welcome to add this, like if you have a link to how people can buy these products, because again, mm, you don't I mean we don't know who out there is not only listening to this but is like, yes, I want to add this into my lifestyle. And sometimes it could be just one tiny little change, but that tiny little change creates like a ripple, that, as they say, stands the test of time, meaning it just gets
Yeah.
bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. It
So
is still not
uh,
commercial, Rahul. So we
sure,
have not
sure.
launched any website or
Mm.
such like that. But
But if people want to
just
know more, they
started.
can reach out to you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I can share
Beautiful.
the links
Yeah.
of that.
Because
And
sometimes maybe
spiritual.
it's, go ahead.
Sorry, sorry.
No,
No,
no, please.
health, I'm taking care of it. Lifestyle, my
Correct.
husband takes care of it. I just go for
Right.
vacation over there. I'm not involved in anything over there.
Right.
The spirituality, again, both of us, the
Mm.
combination over there for both of us.
Mm.
We are amateur astronomers.
Ooh.
Astronomy is something, a family hobby now for us.
Wow.
So, sky watching, so all that.
Amazing.
Uh,
I'm getting
and
some ideas right now, by the way. Whether it shows up on the podcast or after, because usually we hear about astrology, but if you, it's like, it's very rare, especially nowadays, to come across astronomy, and people who are actively studying about it and incorporating it into, like you said, it's like stargazing is in the city it's a lost art because you can't see stars.
yes,
Generally
yes,
speaking, it's very
light
rare.
pollution. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Mm.
So that's really fascinating to, uh, I've never heard of, like, when you say astronomy or stargazing, like the one of the first, and this is a very personal uh, connection to this, that one of my first ever um, awarenesses about astronomy was through my dad. Like, he was an
Wow.
active and I'm talking like, 30, 35, yeah, easily like at least about 35 years ago,
Okay,
or
amazing.
40 years ago, maybe even. Yeah, it would be actually now, like 40 plus years ago, he would talk about, Orion's belt and things like that,
Oh yeah.
which
Mm, mm.
way back then, obviously as a young kid, it just, these things just kind of like go in without any
Resonated.
filters. And it's
Yeah.
interesting to hear like 40 plus years later, where,
Mm.
talking about it on a podcast. So, uh, and
During
I'm
those
sure,
time, people used to have a lot of awareness and knowledge
yes,
of what is happening in
yes,
the space research and all.
yes,
But
yes.
during our period, we lost that actually.
Mm, mm,
But our elders used to know, like our fathers
right.
used to know, right? They used to
Mm,
get into these researches, all that.
mm,
Uh, yeah, yeah. Sorry,
nice.
I cut you
Nice.
off.
No, 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 not at all. Not at all. So, as I'm, listening to you, and like it's like your life's journey is, like a jigsaw. It's kind of like piecing together for me. This is something that I found is a really powerful lens to look at life that's already happened, right? So if you were to, Shobs, if you were to look back at, or look at, the life experiences of maybe the last 5, 10, or even maybe more, um, which, maybe there were like two or three incidents which at the time it felt like a mistake, right? Or it was like a misstep, like a miscalculation, and you're like, oh, why did it happen at that time, right? But now, since you have the strength of what is it they call it, um, like retrospection, like you can look back at it, right? So it's like hindsight 2020. That's the English expression, right? So, um, what would be maybe two or three stories that come to mind? When I say stories, isn't like incidents where you're like,
Okay.
now when I think about it, I'm so glad it happened then.
Yeah. First thing that comes to my mind is my marriage.
Interesting. Please do continue.
Yeah, let us start with fun. Yeah. So no, I've never regretted, but what happened is, it is always not the happy
Mm,
happy thing always, right? The consistent. But
sure,
I
sure.
have seen that in my parents life. I don't know how they were like
Mm,
that. I've never seen them shouting at each other
mm,
or raising their voice or nothing
mm,
like that. They're
mm,
always so uh, lovely conversation they used to have.
mm,
uh, we could make that.
mm,
But mine is a love marriage where initially my parents and his parents, both of them, opposed. And they were not
mm,
happy about it. My dad, in
mm,
fact, he was little practical person. He took all those pros, cons, and all, and he used to explain me, this is what going to happen. This is what is going to happen if you are getting into it.
mm.
And yeah, during that time, my husband is also watching this. My husband must be watching it, but it's fine. But it's fine. But what happened was, when we get into the thing, it is not always like how it is going to be during our
Mm,
those love days, right? So
mm,
so when things changed, when we also get into arguments all that time, I felt like, oh,
mm,
this my dad told me, oh, this is what my dad felt. Whatever I was experiencing,
mm,
uh, I could recollect or connect it with what my dad told. That's what
mm.
is the experience, right? For them, they, over the
Yeah,
years, they've seen a lot of
yeah,
people and they can
yeah.
judge uh,
Mm,
people by
right.
being with them. But my dad, we are family friends for a long time, so
Mm,
we know
okay.
each other, the both the families. It's not a
Mm,
new place for me.
mm.
So it was like that. Then uh, that was during my until my corporate life. When
All
we
right.
started the Uyirmei mission, that is why I tell everybody, we
Mm,
are working
mm.
together on a mission, not on
Wow.
business, or we are not partners in business. We
Mm,
are partners in a mission.
wow.
So
I
Now I
love that.
feel nobody, my even my not my dad, my relatives were saying while this was going on, when people were
Mm,
opposing, when they were saying no, there was
mm,
a good alliance which is coming to me, and people said like no, good proposals. People were
mm,
saying no, no, this is they were comparing it
right.
with the financial status, all that.
Mm,
But now I feel even if that financial status would have been there, I wouldn't have felt so happy like what I am today, right?
right.
Because of the mission.
Mm,
Because of the mission. Like I earned. I was also into. If I would have been in corporates, I would have gone
mm,
into a different position. All that I've
correct.
experienced that life. All that has happened.
Mm,
Now
mm,
this mission, whatever it is giving to us, the
mm,
satisfaction, the
right.
that is completely different. The
Mm,
this only this man can give me. Apart from
wow.
this man,
Beautiful.
nobody else can give this.
Amazing. Amazing.
I would have thought of health. That's it. I would have thought I should work on health. So let me do
Right.
something. But
Right.
because he brought in the uh, lifestyle, and he brought in
Mm,
the spirituality aspects, I am. I don't know
mm,
anything about astronomy. Even today, I'm
wow.
learning and I'm
Mm,
experiencing and I'm
yes.
enjoying it. But I don't have knowledge about it. But my husband and my son, both of them are learning, and they have a lot of
Wow.
knowledge comparing
Mm,
my
mm,
knowledge in that field.
wow.
So this gave me the completeness, right? Who else can give that completeness to me,
Right.
right? Even if
Wow.
I've been got married to somebody else, then they would have given me all sophistications, but not this.
Mm.
So I'm happy. I can shout at
What a
him, he can
lovely
shout
way
at
to
me, but
start.
so ultimately, our mission is on our plate.
Mm,
We have both of us have to work on that mission. That's it. Whatever
amazing.
we fight, that
Amazing.
is one. Second, I really felt very bad. I thought it's a bad decision while
Mm,
quitting my job,
right.
because without thinking of any of the financial planning or something like that, I didn't had
Mm,
anything in mind. Out of frustration,
mm,
obviously, right, I lost both of my parents, and
right.
I know something, my mind and my heart is saying I have to work on health.
Mm,
What am I going to do with corporates? Even if
mm,
I'm learning, sorry, if I'm even if I'm earning, I couldn't
mm,
save my parents. What am I
right.
sitting over there? So
Right.
last night I thought, next day I wrote my resignation. I
Wow.
was in a very promising kind of a position. I
Mm,
was going very good in my corporate ladder.
mm,
But whatever I thought, I couldn't financially take back when it comes to,
right.
it is connected to the next conversation.
Mm,
When it comes
mm,
to coaching business, financially
right.
I couldn't do well. So
Mm,
obviously that financial pressures, when it happens, I felt like, I tell
mm,
people who ever ask my thing, if you're working, then make sure you have your savings or something, then you
right.
get into
Mm,
get into it. Otherwise,
mm,
be prepared for it to
yeah.
face
Yeah.
this,
Mm,
take care of this pressure, stress.
mm,
Yeah, that
mm,
is one thing.
mm,
I felt bad during that time, and now I'm okay with that as
mm.
well. I changed my lifestyle. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
we can simplify
So
our
true.
lifestyle. Simple as
Mm,
that. Yeah.
mm. So, what would be the third story that comes to mind if there is like, yeah, you're like, I hated it, or I was like, ugh, why did it happen then? But now you're like, yeah, I'm glad it happened.
Okay, definitely. um, See, this is, I'm little nervous to say, but still, I'm happy to tell this. I have always been in
Mm,
the hands of someone. I wanted to be on this mission, and
mm,
I wanted to do on this, and I wanted to uh, get associated with someone and do it. And
mm,
I was going through some kind of uh, tight situations. I couldn't
mm,
freely do anything. And during that time, I used to struggle.
mm.
Either I was associated with Dr. Subhash Mani and his organization,
Right.
and I used to work with them, and that was there. When I came out of that, I got into Indian Yoga Association. I was
Mm,
under their umbrella, and I was doing. I'm still working with Indian
mm,
Yoga Association, but I always wanted that shelter.
mm,
And if I come out, I have my own organization, my gurus. I'm
mm,
born and brought up from there, right? I have so much bond over there,
mm.
emotionally, and this thing. So uh, when I came out of that, again here also in digital marketing, I handhold someone, right?
Right.
Yeah, but when I came out, when I was on my own,
Mm,
I felt stressed, and I felt like I uh, couldn't take anybody's support. I
right.
have to do everything on my own.
Mm,
I couldn't get back to them also for asking for support or
mm,
help whenever I'm struggling or something.
mm.
I used to feel bad about it, but
Right.
uh, now I'm happy. Uh,
Mm.
I'm good. I'm good to be alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Could you share a little bit more about it? Because that I mean, in itself, I know that's a very powerful um, realization that, from what I understood, you've had mentors at different points in time, and there came a point where it felt like it was time to move on, and you did it. For a while it didn't. You were like, oops, why did I do this? Or, how do I manage myself? But today you're at a point where you're sort of, in hindsight, you're glad that you did it, right? If I've understood what you've shared.
Yes.
So if you could share a little bit more about that, like what brought that change in your perspective, that, I'm glad that I mean, you may say you're on your own, but you're not. But it's
Yeah.
like, or maybe you feel, okay, now I'm like doing my own thing, right? But if you could share a little bit more about that, because I know that, especially for, coaches and healers, this is part of the journey. Why am I saying that? Because I myself have had that experience over the last 20 years several times. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your take on, what makes you say that, and what that was
Firstly,
like.
yeah, firstly, the dependency mindset is all about that.
Mm, mm,
I always have that. May it be family thing.
mm,
When it comes to money perspective, I'm always a avoider. I say, I feel like
mm,
you take care of it. I'm not. I will do the job. That's it.
mm,
uh, Even I don't have the control. That is one mindset I was having, and dependent
mm,
mindset. So
right.
what happens is, working with mentors, learning from them, bringing their
Mm,
wisdom and showing it to
mm,
people. And I always have high place for my mentors in my life, from my
correct.
guru to my mentor, a lot of doctor
Mm,
mentors, right?
right.
I have a good place for them. But one point in time, when we are working with them, or when we are
Yeah.
in that kind of a thing, we
Mm,
have a lot of restrictions, or we are not
mm,
able to come out of it and think out of the box.
right.
And
Mm,
something is really possible for me, something is really not possible for me. I don't
mm,
have that kind of attitude to do whatever they are saying.
mm,
For example, I will tell
mm,
you one thing. I'm
mm,
so comfortable talking freely, but if it comes to making reels,
mm,
Instagram reels, for me it's like big
mm,
burden on my head, right? Even if
right.
it is 1 minute video, but I should still do
Mm,
it. But what I'm saying is, if someone is forcing me, you have to do only Instagram reels,
right.
and I am not comfortable over there. So this happens to me. I get into a
Mm,
lot of restrictions, lot of
mm,
limitations when
mm,
I'm there. And
Right.
I wanted to really be free, come out of that. And
Mm.
my intention is to serve people. My
Right.
intention is to help people. That's
Mm.
it. My intention is
Mm.
not to uh, like, doctors are there to treat their disease.
Mm.
But definitely that is not just the standalone, right? We are just giving
Right.
the complete lifestyle, and because of
Mm.
lifestyle it is going to make easier.
Mm.
So this freedom, I'll not be able to get. There will be a lot of restrictions, and that is
Mm.
why whenever I come out,
Right.
again the dependency mindset comes. Definitely, as you said, we can't be alone. We will be connected.
Mm.
We will be connected, and we will be working along. But
Mm.
we have to make sure what our intentions are, what we are,
Mm.
what is that we want to end of the day give
Right.
to
Right.
our community.
Mm.
That's it. So it need not be just one mentor. If we
Right.
are with one mentor, if we are associated with one mentor, then
Mm.
uh, we are stuck. That is what I feel. So
Right.
when I am on my own, I can take the wisdom from them,
Mm.
and I can bring in my perspective, and
Right.
I can
Mm.
do it.
Beautiful.
That is when. But
That's a
the
very,
limitation
very
is,
powerful mindset.
yeah, the limitation is, again, your
Mm.
uh, uh, what do we call that, dependency mindset.
Right.
That
Yeah.
is what.
So I like what you're
Pure.
saying in the sense that, so there are a couple of things here, just to pause and reflect on what you said, because it's really, really powerful. Um, and especially for people who are already familiar with the idea of being mission oriented, or, wanting to start a movement, or they're already on that journey, right? Um, the ability to notice when you are in a dependency mindset, and also the having the strength to be able to step into the other side. So it's like, the yin and the yang, right? The light and the dark, meaning, if yes, you want to learn from mentors, and at different points you will find different mentors, and it's not going to stop over the next 10 years. When we have a conversation again, there will be probably a different mentor that you would have met at a certain point, because that's what you needed or required, or wanted, right? And that
Exactly.
mentor will show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is, from what you shared, the ability also to be able to zoom out and say, oh no, I am now again tapping into the dependency mindset. So let me now tap back into the independent mindset, meaning where I am,
Yes.
you know, um, trusting my own gut, my own intuition, my own, fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank, because at the end of the day, that is your guiding light,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
very, very powerful. And thank you for, like you said, you did for a moment sort of, you're like, I don't know if I should be saying this, but okay, I'm going to say it. And thank you for,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
tapping into that strength,
Yeah.
because I know, and I myself have been there. There are a lot of times when we are in the process, working with, say, for example, a mentor, um, where we reach that moment where we realize that the reason why the mentor was sent to you has been fulfilled, but somewhere it is our ego. Or when I say ego, it could be pride, it could be fear, it could be any of those emotions that prevent us from saying, okay, now is the time to again step into our own, um, our own greatness, our own, when I say greatness, again, not from an ego perspective, but from that purity place, that purity of our soul, our connection to the divine, right? And it's interesting to hear you say this.
Yeah,
uh
and my guru, Sri Vedatri Maharishi, also says,
mm,
whenever you want, or whenever you
mm,
need, if you have that burning desire, if you
mm,
have that intention very strong in mind, Guru will appear.
yes.
So that guru or that mentor,
Yeah.
uh, then and there it changes. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
there will be a lot of people that coming and supporting us.
mm,
We have to take from there. That is what
Beautiful.
I started. experiencing that now. I learned from
Yeah.
my son also.
Mm,
I'll tell you an example. I used to
mm,
crib, or I used to feel bad
mm,
about some of the behaviors of my
mm,
in laws. What
mm.
happens now? My son is growing up, right? He is
Right.
going, and if there is something that they are telling me, or if I am
Mm,
saying him, they
mm,
he doesn't communicate it to me, and he
mm.
doesn't communicate whatever I'm saying to them. He
Right.
is remaining silent, and that is when
Mm,
I felt, even if they are saying something, or if I am not if I'm not liking the way they are saying,
mm.
why I'm not being able to be silent?
Wow.
That is
Mm.
one thing we will need to. So there is lot of lessons our life
Yeah. True.
uh, is teaching us.
Yeah.
There are a lot of mentors. Even my son
Yeah.
is my mentor over there, right?
Mm.
He
Yeah.
sees this in a different perspective.
Mm.
So
True.
that is how
Mm.
I see. So I just
Beautiful.
wanted to
Beautiful.
be independent, and I
Right.
wanted to give that due respect to all my mentors,
Mm.
and I will
Yeah.
again approach them whenever I'm in need. But
Exactly.
I would love to do whatever
Yeah.
I wanted to give that gratitude and
Correct.
uh, honor to them whenever,
Mm. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
every time. Yeah, that is there.
Yeah. It's the word that's coming in my mind is it's not from a place from, if I've understood what you're saying, it's not from a place of disrespect. It is more coming from a place of the awareness and the acknowledgement of what you've already received,
Exactly. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And when you know that it's at the end of the day, all of this is in service of your mission, in
Exactly.
service of your um your the purpose of why you're doing all of this, that's when you are, you will get the next message, whether that means, okay, so
Very true,
Shubhavani, now
Rahul.
is the time for you to take all of what you learned and do it
Yes.
in your way, right?
Exactly.
In service of the people, in service of your mission. Then
Exactly.
the next, whether it's the next chapter, whether it's the next milestone, it will anyway appear, right?
Very true. Yeah.
So thank you for your honesty and also your presence, because I think that is why, one of the reasons why I started this, this podcast, the iHypnosis coaching journeys. Like, this name also came about because I truly believe, and I'm very fortunate in that, to connect with people who, who share this vision, who share this uh, desire, which is, there's a common thread there, right? Which is, we are doing this in service of other people, right? We may have started at some point, either because of something we went through, or because it was like, okay, can I also make this a vocation? Can I also make this something that can generate revenue, so that I can, continue to do this and do it full time, and also be, so sustainability is not only for other people, it's for self as well, right? And then there comes a point where we grow beyond that, where it becomes truly mission oriented, and all the right people will sort of like connect
Completely.
in the way that
Yeah.
it's meant to be,
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hearing you and the way that you've just shared so freely, so with so much of heart, that is truly what makes, it reminds me that, yes, when the idea came, it wasn't coming from my head, it wasn't coming from logic,
Yes.
right? Like, oh, you must do a podcast. That is the logical part, but it's like, when the time shows up, you'll know it, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
having said all of this, of course, this kind of reminds me, um, and I know you've talked about it a little bit, but I'd love for you to share a little more in detail. When, like, if I was to say, okay, so Shobhani, how would you, or what role has community played in your life? I'd love to, for you to share in more detail in this context.
Yeah. Yes, community. I have always been in a community from my childhood. As I was telling you,
Mm,
I'm born and brought up in a community rather from a
Mm.
family. I would say community brought me
Beautiful.
up from my childhood.
Wow.
Vedatri Maharishi's community is the one people used to call me when I
Mm.
used to be in my 11th, 12th standard. People
Mm.
used to say me, they can just say Shubhavahini World Community Service Center, Hosur, the post will come. That is how I've been. I've always
Wow.
been in the trust. I've born and brought up with the community, with group of
Right.
people working together,
Mm.
supporting
Mm.
each other's mission, helping each other.
Mm.
But this is how the bond was during that time. And times are changing.
Right.
Today, those are becoming organizations delivering
Mm.
some services. That is how that has changed now. But when
Right.
I have been in that community, right?
Mm.
uh, that experience is completely different. I
Mm.
call the members as mama, atte,
Wow.
anna, brother, sister, or the relationship, the bond.
Mm.
Uh, why I'm telling that is
Mm.
community means trust,
Right.
right?
Wow.
The trust and the
Mm.
bond. That
Mm.
is what is community all about.
Mm.
So whatever we're feeling, even if we are not able to communicate to the family or whatever we are going through, they will be
Mm.
open to tell people. They will
Mm.
open up. My father and all, I've seen them. They used to
Mm.
share a lot of things with these community people, and if
Right.
he is standing in a problem, they will come and support.
Mm.
That kind of a bond, that kind of a trust was there.
Right.
So for me, that is what I see as a community. That is what I wanted to
Mm.
give to my people as well. The
Mm.
belongingness. That is what.
Right.
So when I started working in corporates, I literally lost it.
Mm.
I've never been in a community kind of an environment. I was isolated, work,
Mm.
all that corporate lifestyle. Again, friendship comes
True.
into place, but not community. There is a
Mm.
difference, right?
Mm.
So when we started this Uyirmei mission, we didn't
Mm.
wanted to. Uh, this is one of the differentiation I
Mm.
got from my mentor. My
Right.
mentor, that is what I told you, right? When I'm attached with them, my mentor guided me to
Right.
deliver a service.
Right.
I used to give a detox program.
Mm.
Detox program is 3 days program, maximum 15 days.
Mm.
Even if we want to support them on all the aspects,
Right.
it is like just 15 days. After
Mm.
that, what happened is they just come. I delivered my program. They gave me
Mm.
money. The bond is over. They
Right.
get back to their life.
Right.
They go back to the routine. They are not getting result.
Mm.
Whatever they got in 15 days or 1 month,
Right.
when they're getting back to their own lifestyle, the things are changing, and
Mm.
they just see us as the service provider.
Right.
And bond between me and my client is completely
Mm.
missing. And that is where I felt this is not going to happen like this. They are
Mm.
not coming and consulting a doctor.
Right.
We want to give them the holistic perspective.
Mm.
They want to experience that. So not just the holistic perspective of health, our
Mm.
Uyirmai mission, all three: health, lifestyle,
Right.
and the spirituality
Right.
aspect, right? So that is when we started running as a community programs. We give
Mm.
for our community. We always collaborate. Me and my husband can collaborate, but I and my mentor cannot have a one mission, right? But me and my
Mm.
husband can have a one mission, though we
True.
are working
True.
uh, separately. We have our own area to work on,
Mm.
but still this is one common mission,
Mm.
right? So
Right.
together we could give them the holistic approach, and we wanted to
Right.
bring in that relationship. I want to bring in
Mm.
a long term relationship, and
Mm.
people who, and it's very important for me. When I, after quitting my job, I've told this
Mm.
to you as well, Rahul, during our conversation. When I
Mm.
quit my job, when I was sitting here, initially,
Mm.
definitely we will not be able to make uh, money or make programs. We will not be
Mm.
able to see people. Digital marketers or digital coaches have to work in this four walled room.
Mm.
So, where is the connection for us? And we are all
Right.
time in the digital platform, and
Mm.
socializing is missing. Normally,
Mm.
socializing is missing. For me,
Right.
when I'm quitting my job and coming and sitting here,
Mm.
I feel isolated, and it
Right.
gave me a lot of depression.
Mm.
And I am not, my husband says I can, he can just put me in a room without food, but he can't put
Mm.
me in a room without people talking. Without talking, if a plaster is shut to my mouth, then I will be dead. If if someone wants to
Wow.
kill me, it's not about food, it is about putting my mouth shut. That is what he used to say. Definitely, I'm a people's person, right? So it
Mm.
just gave me a lot of depression, and that is when I realized
Mm.
community is important for me personally.
Mm.
I want relationships. If even if we are not calling them by
Mm.
relationships, they are truly. That's why, that's what I
Mm.
mentioned. Like, I want to see them as my father. I want to see them as my mother.
Right.
uh, that whichever I am missing in my life, I want to take back from my community.
Right.
So that is one important factor, and the long term
Mm.
relationship always gives a good result, rather when it comes
Right.
to wellness.
Mm.
uh, the service based aspects will not
Mm.
work, will
Mm.
not work. In diabetes management, what happens is mind plays an important role.
Mm.
I'll tell you one example. What happened? It's a testimonial. What
Mm.
was happening is I was working with a client. We were
Mm.
going on a 15-day program during that time,
Mm.
and 15-day program is 3 days physical program, and then we
Mm.
will have some kind of deep relaxation techniques. All that we
Right.
will be teaching them, and then
Mm.
working on their mind, diet, lifestyle, and all
Mm.
for
Mm.
rest 12 days,
Right.
right? So uh, initially itself, I'll be talking to them, asking them what is going wrong. Diabetes
Right.
reversal is not about keeping your parameters right. It is not about
Mm.
what you eat and what you exercise.
Mm.
Diabetes management is much more than that. Diabetes
Mm.
management should start working on the mind first.
Correct.
So this, I always educate people. I always put them a lot of questions, but to understand their mindset, and then we give
Right.
uh, the yoga nidra, deep relaxations,
Mm.
meditation
Nice.
techniques to bring them
Mm.
relax their uh, the
Right.
tension which is going on in the mind. But
Mm.
this
Mm.
particular lady, she gone through this.
Mm.
She didn't open up
Mm.
anything. Her parameters and vitals were also not coming right.
Mm.
We were wondering what is happening. One
Mm.
day I was conducting this yoga nidra. By end of the yoga nidra, she started crying.
Mm.
Lot of tears came out. And then when that tears coming out, what happened is, uh, I then asked, closed that session, everything, and I
Mm.
asked, called her separately. And when I was talking to her, after two courses, almost a month, then she
Mm.
is opening up. She has a problem, with a sensitive problem with his, with her relationship.
Wow.
So that she's not able to tell that out,
Mm.
she's not able to solve that problem.
Right.
She's suppressing it, she's getting emotionally
Mm.
burdened, and her blood sugar levels are just up, it's not dropping.
Mm.
Then
Mm.
I have a family counselor as well,
Mm.
who's my husband's psychology mentor, actually.
Mm.
So we
Mm.
put her and her family
Nice.
to him, because I will not be able to solve that problem, right? I have to
Right.
take to the expert.
Mm.
We put her to him, and he guided, and over the period in time,
Mm.
it was so easy to bring her vitals normal.
Mm.
So this
Wow.
is then that is why we felt like the service providing is not going to help us. We will need to have
Right.
long term
Mm.
association. Beyond this program also, we will need to
Right.
have
Mm.
association with people. Only then wellness works.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, that is why
Wow.
community is to me. That is what
Mm.
community is to me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in this context, like at the time of this recording, how do you like what? Not so much as a structure, but like say someone when they come to you, and they're in your they're in your community. How does it work? Like, do you meet them once a week, once a month? What's that engagement like from a community perspective?
So what I'm doing is, from a community perspective, if a person is coming to me, 90 days, I have a
Mm.
direct communication with them.
Mm.
90 days, it's kind of one-on-one program. First 3 days,
Mm.
I will be giving them recordings, and I will also call them for a
Mm.
short meetings digitally.
Mm.
And
Mm.
after this 3 days, our actual program starts. First is the learning
Okay.
phase. This 3 days is the learning phase. They have to
Mm.
understand the basics.
Mm.
They have to understand the core. Then
Right.
after, from fourth day onwards, that is when the 90-day starts. That is
Mm.
the
Got it.
implementation phase, 90-day challenge.
Right.
And
Right.
I will be giving them the task based on their vitals, based on their thing. I will do an
Mm.
diagnosis. I'll do an assessment, and then based on that,
Mm.
we will be giving them a lot of activities to do, and we will
Mm.
have 2 calls per week,
Okay.
and a quick check calls every day. Very quick check calls.
Mm.
In check calls, they just call me, or they just call our team. They will say
Mm.
3 things that they felt happy about implementing that day.
Mm. Got it.
I will repeat it clearly. 3 happiest moments, whatever they have felt
Right.
while applying the concepts.
Mm.
For example,
Got it.
we ask them to start their day with a fresh vegetable juice. If they are starting the
Right.
day with the vegetable fruit, if they had it, how happy they felt after having with it.
Mm.
It is not just following a diet, right?
Correct.
It is about incorporating it as a lifestyle.
Mm.
So that is why we also give this emotional connection always with whatever we
Mm.
are doing.
Right.
So that check calls will be there, and
Mm.
quick check calls, and
Mm.
90 days. After 90 days is our community access. After
Okay.
90 days, they will be part of my inner circle call,
Mm.
and the challenge also, they can just attend the
Right.
group counseling calls as well.
Mm.
2 calls
Mm.
per week after 90
Mm.
days. But 90 days, it is one on one,
Got it. Beautiful.
customized planning for them.
Mm. Mm. Nice. So yeah, so like I said, the one part is of course the community, and I have a personal agenda in this context because my journey into being a coach, it began literally like 2 decades ago, and of course it's been through different phases where there was a very long time when only training existed, right? Coaching didn't exist as a concept, and at least that people knew about. Maybe in a corporate context you might have had it, but in sort of like a general public context it didn't exist. But in spite of all of the various phases, I never really paid too much attention to building community, right? Until let's say maybe the last 5 maybe 6 years now. So that's why when I ask you about community, it's like a, you could say it's like my personal agenda to to tell people, especially we're talking to, primarily to digital coaches and healers, that if you are already creating, or you've thought about creating a community, you're on the right track. If for some reason you've been holding yourself back, maybe listening to somebody's story, like listening to your story today, will move the needle where they realize that, yeah, if I have a community, I will be able to expand the mission to reach more people, right? Versus only seeing people one on one and not really thinking about growing a community, right? So that's the reason why I asked you these questions. And of course, you did mention about the the program that you're currently running, but if you could just maybe for a little while, if you could just share, um, it's like, what's the story behind you deciding that, okay, at this stage of, especially where we are in terms of the recording, because if somebody hears the 6 months or a year later, the program may have evolved into something else, which I'm sure when they click on your link, they'll be able to find you, or of course find you directly on any of the social channels. But if you if you could just share, like, what's the story behind the the current, let's say, the program that you're running, where people can find you. Maybe the first phase is a webinar and so on and so forth, or maybe it's a Calendly link. It depends on what you're talking about. But
Okay.
more than anything, it's like, what made you come up with the the current,
The
um, in a coaching context, it's like your funnel.
funnel.
But basically,
Okay.
it's like, what made you come up with the program or the product that you're currently creating?
Okay. So we have to work with people who are resonating with us. That
Correct.
is very important.
Mm,
Uh, so when it comes to diabetes management, especially I'm working on wellness, right? So there are
mm,
lot of lot of challenges while bringing people in this niche.
mm,
So what happens is something will be like people will have mindset about,
correct.
especially people who are associated with the modern medical concepts. They
Mm,
will be satisfied with the medications that they are going
right.
through with doctors.
Mm,
We are
mm,
doing an integrated approach only, but they will need to
right.
experience what
Mm,
our program is. Why is it
mm,
important? So my funnel, what we have designed is, my
mm,
funnel is like, there are two entry levels. One is that you get into my webinar,
mm,
and then you get into my uh, uh, the community direct. Very simple. I don't have
mm,
levels over here. I don't have L1 L2. It is like a
mm,
L3 program only. Then
got it.
90-day challenge, then they get into the community access.
Mm,
That is what it
mm,
is. So
got it.
funnel, the entry level is either webinar and they come
Mm,
into it. Otherwise,
mm,
I have just started with a 7-day gut reset challenge. That is
yes, I've noticed that
more than,
of late.
yeah, more
Mm,
than saying gut reset. I would say waist reworking on the waistline,
mm,
right? That is the indication. This is not just for
mm,
diabetes. Even if people are uh, having a diabetic gene, if their parents are diabetic,
right.
and
Mm,
if they have that consciousness whether they are going to get
mm,
diabetic, uh,
mm,
how they should change their diet, if they are so conscious about their health.
right.
And for people who are in that borderline, the pre-diabetic condition,
Mm,
everybody
mm,
can go through this gut, the waistline reset challenge. And this
mm,
the waist circumferences, in 7 days, what all they can go
mm,
through it. We want to
wow.
give them that experience of reducing one
Mm,
inch or 2 inch. Even if they are
correct.
not reducing, our target is not reducing their waistline inches
Mm,
in the 7 days. Our target, or our outcome will be,
mm,
our promise will be, they will feel much better, lighter
right.
version
Mm,
of them.
mm,
This is the 7-day challenge. This is what is the
right.
entry program that I'm bringing in.
Mm,
I'm just giving it uh, as a complimentary thing, because I want people to experience that.
Correct.
Then
Correct.
they get into my community. If they're
Beautiful. And
if
just
they want
for
to reverse their lifestyle.
clarification here,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm saying just for clarification here, are you referring to both type 1 and type 2 or
Oh yeah.
which?
You asked me this question in the beginning,
Hmm,
but I'm sorry I missed it.
that's okay.
Thank you for taking it back. Not type 1, only type 2. Type 1 is insulin dependent.
Hmm,
Mostly insulin dependent condition will come in the very early ages,
hmm,
childhood childhood
hmm,
time. And two things: childhood time, we will not be able to force people on changing the lifestyle, all that.
hmm,
Second thing, it will not work. They are insulin dependent.
hmm.
They have to take care of their insulin. They have to
Got it.
be on their insulin, no other
Hmm,
option.
hmm,
But yeah, for like, we have they have to follow a lifestyle. Parents
hmm,
definitely can help them, and even if they are grown up, they can take
hmm,
care of their diet and lifestyle
hmm.
in a healthy way. But apart from that, no, they have to
Got
be
it.
insulin dependent.
So your
Type
focus
2
is
diabetes,
primarily on type 2.
lifestyle. Yeah, type 2 is because of their metabolism, because of their
Correct.
lifestyle,
Hmm,
all that, right? In India today,
got it.
uh, almost every house,
Hmm,
initially they said, only the rich man, it's a diabetes is a rich man's disease.
hmm,
Only somewhere, someone who's
right.
living a sedentary life and who's
Hmm,
living like a king will have this.
hmm,
But every house have diabetic today, so
hmm.
definitely it's because of the lifestyle and the genetical portion as well.
Right.
We have to be aware. What my
Hmm,
intention is, we have to be aware. If we are not changing, we are
got it.
carrying this gene to the next generation.
Hmm,
It is going to be much complicated, much difficult.
hmm.
So today,
Unless.
yeah, we have to change our lifestyle.
Hmm,
Genetically, definitely diabetes, there is a connection.
hmm.
Genetic inheritance is there, but
Sure. Hmm.
even more that the social inheritance is there.
Right. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Social. I've
we
never heard this
talked about
expression
this.
before.
I,
Social inheritance. Wow.
yeah, I I talk about this. Forget about
Wow.
the genetical factor,
Right.
but take care of the social factor. Even in
Wow.
one of the meetings where we were together, I
Mm-hmm.
took this point as well, right? Even in one of the sessions before,
Hmm.
if my parent is eating the same pattern, I'm also following the same kind of
Hmm.
food pattern. If my parents are living some kind of a lifestyle, I'm carrying
Right.
that to my thing. And
Wow.
this is very important. This we will need to break somewhere.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah.
So, of course, like I said earlier, reminding you, the watcher, the listener, and the viewer, regardless of where you're consuming this, the links will be available to you. You should be able to see Shubhavani's links below. So definitely, reach out and at the end of the day, the intention here is that we are here to truly to serve. One last frame, which is again very close to my heart, which is anything and everything to do with NLP or neuro linguistic programming. Of course, from a branding point of view, what I call the iHypnosis is a combination of NLP, because that's where I began my journey way back 2007. And then over the years, I've also been very blessed to have not only made the acquaintance with hypnosis, but incorporate that. And today, the iHypnosis as a brand, it uses the benefits and the elements of NLP, hypnosis, and self hypnosis. So in this context, I'd love to get your perspective on it. Maybe one, are you aware of this? And even if you say no, I'll prove you wrong in exactly like 30 seconds. But I'll come to that in a second. And of course, I'm just making light of it as well. But I'd
Yeah.
love to hear, Shubs, your take on especially on NLP or neuro linguistic programming.
Yeah. I've just heard about it. I always have a feel that NLP train. I've met some of the NLP trainers
Hmm. Hmm.
in my locality. Whenever I
Hmm.
meet them or whenever I have a conversation with them, I always feel that they are something. Uh, they are intellectually great, or
Hmm.
they can read you. They can. I also
Hmm.
feel that when talking to you, I don't need to tell anything and everything to you. Whenever I have the conversation, you read me very well, and you just tell, even without
Right.
asking support or something like that. You that comes
Hmm.
out, right? That is
Hmm.
only thing I
Thank you for saying
experienced
that.
with
Hmm.
you.
Beautiful.
Apart from that, technically I don't know about NLP.
So, all right. So
Again,
that's one. Go
again,
ahead. Go ahead.
with this yogic philosophy,
Yes.
I truly
Yes.
believe the subconscious and
Yes.
conscious, the
Yes.
manomaya and vijnanamaya
Hmm.
doshas
Yes.
integration. If you are
Yes.
being aware, then people come to you, or anything that you need that come to
100%.
us. And
Beautiful.
that is how you are also there. Yeah, that is one
Beautiful.
thing.
Beautiful. Thank you for saying that, because this was what I was indirectly what I was hinting at, that the way I look at it, and of course, because of yours, and of course my Indian roots, I know that the way I look at it today, this is almost 2 decades later of starting on the journey of NLP, is NLP is more of a Western way of looking at hypnosis. And if you look at civilizations, obviously, hypnosis has been in the Indian culture forever, right? So, in today's context, when you say, for example, yoga nidra, since you also mentioned it
Yeah.
today in
Mm,
passing, and
mm,
how powerful it was for
yeah.
one of your
Yeah.
one of your students, one of your
Clients.
clients, that
Mm,
uh, in today's terminology they call yoga nidra hypnagogic sleep,
mm,
right?
mm,
Which is, as the name suggests, it's got a lot to do with our consciousness, or more
mm.
importantly, our unconsciousness, right?
Yeah.
So when we're able to let go of our body, it's
Mm,
like with the shavasana, we're able to let go, and we've had that one experience where in shavasana it was like 2 minutes maybe, but it felt like an eternity,
got it.
right?
Mm,
If
mm,
we've practiced yoga nidra or we've taught yoga nidra, we know how transformative it can be, right?
mm, mm,
So my intention of even bringing up the topic of NLP is because today, you know, like I said, like it's been 16, 17 years in the making. Today, I'm at that point where I know it is time for me to share this with the world in a way where it can be easily accessible, and it can be accessible to a large number of people, right? Because today, thankfully, we're no longer restricted by location, right? You literally can put up a video, you can create a course, and people from all over the country, all over the world can attend.
yeah.
So that is what I myself am in the process of doing. So, I'm that's why at one level I'm very curious, from a healer and a coach's perspective, what the level of awareness is out there, because you're obviously in one area, like you said, you've met NLP practitioners in your area, and you can tell there's something different. And obviously, the more people use it, so it's one thing to learn a course, it's another one to apply it, and then to integrate it and make it part of you,
Yeah.
right? So, um, as you can tell, I'm extremely excited and passionate about this, and I want more people to learn it, especially people who are digital coaches and healers, because we're very blessed. I've already figured out, to some extent or to a large extent, our Uyirmei, our
Mm,
purpose,
yeah.
right? Why we want to reach out and connect with people, and help them connect to their higher self, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so, whether you say NLP, whether you say hypnosis, of course I say iHypnosis because it's a combination of all of it.
Mm,
It's an opportunity for people to be able to be more persuasive, be also for us to be able to get out of our own way,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because, like the name suggests, neuro linguistic programming, The linguistic part is has a lot to do with the uh, the things we tell ourselves every day. We're not good enough. We are not certified enough. I need, right? Fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. While the universe, God, our spiritual, our higher self is saying, Arey Buddhu, you already have it,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Right? And so we need in quotes to have life experiences to suddenly go, okay, I get it now. I have everything. Now let me really like lean into my mission and make it available to more people. Right? So the way I look at it, NLP, because that's something that people are more familiar with today,
Mm.
that is a shortcut for people to start in on that journey of realization.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm.
any powerful person that wants to, or anybody who wants to powerfully connect with people, whether you say in the context of sales, webinars,
Got it.
marketing material, that is where NLP is a very, it's a really powerful shortcut
Mm.
to create that kind of impact,
Yeah.
right? So
Got it.
I really want to thank you for Shubhani, Shubs, as I like to say,
Yeah.
for not only taking your time, but to show up. And like I always say, it's like when you show up ahead of time, you show up on time, and it says a lot about who you are, and you being on your mission and living your mission and truly wanting to make that difference in the lives of so many. And where you've been able to, and I'm sure on a from time to time, pretty much on a daily basis, you're reminded over and over again why you've been given this mission, right? And that you get to live it and expand it, and have more people reach out to you because they connect with you, right? I mean, that honestly is the reason why even this podcast, right, iHypnosis coaching journeys, it was created for this, for people to be able to spread their message out into the world. So thank you once again for taking the time. And of course, we are now in that last half. It's like they say, we're like in the after party, or um, we're in the deep end, right? So people who are like really vibing are already, they're still here. And in fact, I noticed there are, and I know you want to say something, so go right ahead, because I'm going to quickly just read out some of the comments while you do that. So go ahead. Go ahead, Shubs. I know you were about to
Yeah,
say something.
yeah, I want to thank you, Rahul, first of all, because as I tell you, I feel so comfortable talking to you. I feel so excited talking to you actually. But all our conversations are like that only, right?
Mm,
Uh, somewhere, what I feel is whenever you talk about eye hypnosis, I just see as Uyirmei, that's it,
yeah.
right?
Wow.
That is
Wow.
how. Why? What is that Uyirmai? What is that
Mm,
purpose? What is that uh, thing that realization is very important. So I
right.
feel so excited while talking to you
Mm,
whenever you say about the
beautiful.
purpose, living on the purpose
Mm,
and all. I'm like, uh, I could resonate,
mm,
and especially today's conversation, I could able to self reflect on my path,
right.
my journey, whatever I have come, and it is
Mm,
also reminded me on my purpose, my mission.
yes.
And
Yes.
first of all, when I looked at that poster when you sent it to me yesterday, I felt so happy. Looking at that word, I have never mentioned where my mission. I'm going to use that. I
Beautiful.
have
Please,
always
please do.
told my mission,
Yes.
right? My mission is to
Yes.
help
Yes.
diabetic, but
Yeah.
Weirmay itself is a mission. That is what we were
Mm,
thinking. But when you mentioned that Uyirmei mission, it gave me a different perspective. How much I have to put
nice.
in to get uh,
Yes.
my mission
Mm,
come true, right? So
mm,
that is what the realization
amazing.
this
Amazing.
podcast gave me. This is I've not whoever is watching, I was not
Yes.
consciously talking. I was just talking as if
Mm.
I'm conversing with Rahul in an offline moment, and that is how I
Right.
was doing it. I felt so
Amazing.
comfortable, free,
Amazing.
happy,
Amazing.
and just connected to my mission back.
Right.
Thank you so much for that.
Amazing.
Thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank
much
you
for
for
making
for
that.
sharing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing this. And in fact, I was just so I will read out a few. There are so there's Sridhar, who you know,
Okay.
two of his comments. One is, of course, he said, I have a similar mindset of dependency and it still constrains me, right? And another one where he talked about how basically it reminds me, this is towards the end when you were sharing, he says, it reminds me of my close relative, Pun, who is a chatterbox. You can declare me dead if I am not talking, even if the heartbeat has stopped.
Thank you, Sridhar, for that. I'm that. I'm that kind of a
So
person. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this has been an absolute joy, and I really do wish for you that your people find you people who truly resonate with you, the way you are shaping your mission, your Uyirmei mission, and yeah, I mean it's been an absolute pleasure. And of course, for those of you who are watching this, this is what I always say, and I will remind you again. Remember to live with purpose.
Yeah.
So
That's
remember
right.
this as well. We do these podcasts twice a week. Of course, the live is available when it's happening, and then the uploads happen. We're still kind of at this juncture. We are, I think, on episode 7 today. So we're just about fixing the schedule, but you can expect at least one upload every week. On It's available on YouTube, and of course soon to be on. In fact, yeah, it's already available on Spotify. So definitely, watch it or listen to it, and reach out. And if either of us can in any way we can help you, that's why we show up like this, right? So do stick around, Shubs. What I will be doing is I will be in a moment. I'm going to be closing these, but if you have any, as they say, any last words that you want to share with the audience, please do. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah.
What I want to share as a nutshell is the entire conversation is diabetes or whatever health conditions you have with respect to your
Mm,
lifestyle.
mm,
Don't get panic about it.
mm,
Nothing to get panic about it.
mm,
It's a fact. We got it, and we have all the means to reverse it.
mm,
So we will need to understand what we will need to do to reverse it. That's it. And we have to make a plan and we have to stick to the plan, and we have to work on our lifestyle.
mm,
So don't get panic. That is what one I wanted to say. Second, one important concept is, if you really have a burning desire to reverse your health condition, just
mm.
have that desire in your mind. That is enough. You just
Wow.
feel that your health is healed completely, you are
Mm,
completely all right, and you're
mm,
having the holistic wellness,
mm,
that kind of desire,
mm,
and that feel that is a reality, and
mm.
definitely you will get all the source of help.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, the
Amazing.
cosmos,
Amazing.
the universe
Mm.
is all connected. If you are able
Yes.
to listen to my voice, that means I can sense your feelings as well, or somebody
Yeah.
else in this universe can
Yeah.
sense your feelings as well. If you have that
Yes.
feeling strong, if you have that desire strong, then people will
Mm.
come to you, or some other sources also you will get the
Mm.
help and you will get it connected. Just
Beautifully
feel
said.
you're healthy. That's it. That is
Wow.
my
Amazing.
last
So I
message.
have to say this to you, as we start to wrap. What you just shared is this is your unconscious speaking, which is you are literally using NLP language without even
Oh,
officially being trained in
trained in
it or
NLP.
whatever.
Yeah.
And that is what makes this so powerful. In fact, as we wrap, just one thing to remember, and I don't think I mentioned it earlier. So there's a reason why I've actually started the Telegram group, so people can join and ask questions, whether you are curious about NLP or whether you have already learned it but you want to go deeper. So it's called the iHypnosis coaching community. It's a Telegram group. The link will be there, and definitely, like I said, you will have links to Shubhavahini's, her, if I remember correctly. One is, of course, your webinar, and there are links to
Seven days
join and to
challenge and
connect.
yeah, other
Yeah,
social
right.
media connections. Yeah.
Perfect. So, wishing each of you the very best. Of course, now I'm going to stay on. So, I'm just going to go across to each of the channels and just close it. And then I'm going to be right back in a second. But you're welcome to keep talking. All right. So, with this, I am now officially closing.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
for
We've got
everyone who's
Facebook
listening.
is closed. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we're now wrapping YouTube. Thank you. And yes, it's now it's just us here